thing about the word atheist is it still has a weird, yucky taste, and I don't know why. Maybe I think it's because of it was acquired through years and years of demonizing atheists.
Yes, those decades and decades, centuries perhaps.
I saw an awesome YouTube video. No, it's not even YouTube. Bible Man. You're a Bible Man at all? So they're still doing these Bible Man shows. He's a superhero and he defeats evil and knows like the Bible like the back of his hand. So there's one episode where there's an evil atheist who wants to put kids into his atheizing machine so that it takes away God, hope, and future. And he's purple. He's got teeth coming out.
And guns probably too.
Yeah, you gotta take all. Oh yeah, it was great. I'm watching it because I was watching for a religion and violence class, and I thought Bible Man might be useful to use as an example. And I was like, no, I don't want to tell anybody about this. This is great.
Wow. Okay, so. Hey!
Holy
it's been so long.
We're back!
Yes.
Man, oh man. We haven't seen each other since I was a tired and serious missionary.
Apparently.
Yes.
That was the way you looked when I last saw you.
That's so funny.
Bethel Park Bible Chapel.
Yeah, and I mean, I never thought of that change. But as you said it, I was like, oh, that is when I started getting tired. When the KLBC ended and the real missions began, and I really started getting serious.
It was bizarre. Because I remember you being totally animated and totally entertaining, still Christian,
but putting the fun in fundamentalism. I've been wanting to use that joke for 6 years.
I know.
Could not have put it better myself. Absolutely. And then when I saw you in a suit, which was enough already.
And I think it was a 3-piece, if I remember. I actually had a waistcoat.
Was it really?
I think so, because I remember that suit. I still have it.
It was just strange. I just didn't. I never expected you to be. I expected you to continue to be a Christian.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect you to be that kind of Christian.
Interesting. So you mean, what does that mean?
Usually, well, Christianity is supposed to add more of what you were.
Oh.
You're supposed to be more.
Life abundantly.
Yes.
Right.
And you seem to be less lively.
Interesting.
As you were deeper in it. And I mean, I didn't know the details of how much you were doing as missionaries or whatever.
Right.
It made sense that you would be interested in that because of your relationship.
Yeah, that was easy to get into.
So I wasn't surprised by that necessarily, because I never doubted for a second that you didn't care about each other.
Yeah.
I don't think a single person on the planet ever questioned that.
Yes, we've got them fooled. It's all plot.
Exactly. See, this is what I remember.
Interesting.
See? Yes.
This is what I remember.
Interesting.
But it was so bizarre. I remember you just didn't really smile. I just thought, again, I think I just thought you were just really tired because missionaries...
Wow.
They're tired.
Sure.
A lot of times they don't smile.
You were too burdened, maybe.
It's interesting. That's interesting, though. Because I never really... when I think back on my Christian life, most of it's KOBC in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then there is I was a missionary in the ministry thing, but it is a little bit hard to put my mind back into those days. What was going on then. But now thinking, yeah, maybe I was really, really tired. Yeah, I don't know. Like, that's something I have to process.
Somebody who I wouldn't have noticed as much or cared really if it was somebody who, generally speaking, wasn't so animated.
Yeah.
I was hyper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was fun to be hyper.
Yeah, you were very good at licking people.
Yeah. Licking people.
Wait,
Yes.
what?
That's triggering a memory.
Yeah.
Licking people?
Yeah, you licked me like
I think
twice.
I did lick you a few times.
Anybody who got
we
close.
mean literally, not
Are you
metaphorically.
serious?
No, yeah.
Why'd you lick me?
Anybody who got close, I remember once he was in a car and I think I was reaching over to grab something or whatever and
No way.
I've completely forgotten all this, but now it's like, wait, there was someone else there. Another Matt hidden inside the little sufferer.
Oh, man.
That's interesting. That's certainly not the reputation I had the 6 years at U of T. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's
You
probably
changed.
best.
Well, that was the 5-year fallow.
You
Yeah.
were just suddenly quiet.
Amazing that you call it a 5-year fallow. And I call that this was your dark time?
Well, not
your
necessarily
confusing
dark.
time?
This was my time after deconstruction. So,
Okay.
so when the faith fell apart,
Okay.
for 5 years, the way looking back, I didn't call it that then. I was just looking back now. It was 5 years where I had no direction,
Okay.
nothing. Because I mean, for me, Christianity was this overarching goal. I'm going to become conformed to the image of Christ. I'm going to
Right.
know Him in His sufferings and
Right.
make sure everyone else knows Him. And then that's gone. It's like, well, now what do I do with my life?
Okay.
It's like I've been following this very set path that, you know, it's a stone path, you know exactly.
Sure.
And then you come into a clearing and the path is gone. It's like, ooh.
And you're just standing still.
And so I'm
basically.
not really even standing still. I was doing stuff, but it wasn't
What were you doing
cultivated.
at this time?
I was at school,
Right.
you know, getting my BA,
And
English, and philosophy and Buddhist psychology and mental health.
which most English majors
Do, right?
of course.
Yeah. And I've been writing a lot more. I've been trying to focus on my art.
Yes.
But other than that, and you know, we've been doing the awesome family thing, which is the big long goal,
yeah.
right? But the Christ was supposed to be, everything was supposed to be inside Christ.
Yes.
So it was like there was a bubble, and now all those things are separate things. They're not one unified thing. I lost the holistic nature of life.
Really? The
Interesting.
connective tissue.
Yeah, between it all. Because in Him we live and move and have our being,
Sure.
after all.
Interesting. Just so that people know, I'm an atheist now. What are you?
I fit the definition, I
Okay.
guess. Yeah, I don't.
but
I don't,
not officially sort of using the term yet, or
I should
whatever.
use it, I guess. It's just
Mine was
confusing.
incredibly gradual, so
Yeah, it's
Oh,
weird.
okay.
I have atheistic beliefs.
okay.
I guess I'm an atheist.
So you're not a Buddhist.
I'm not. Well, Buddhists are atheists. Well, they can be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what would you say? Where would you say you are?
I am a Christian, and I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm seeing in my life gradually change.
Right.
But to the basic beliefs of Christianity, where I believe in God and the Holy Spirit, that's all still very dear to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's totally fair. At one point, we were all believers at this
Yes.
Bible college. I would love to know. Okay, I would love to ask you both, because KLBC probably seems like a good starting point.
Yes.
Yo, we went to KLB. We should show our diplomas, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Get the diplomas.
If we have them,
I don't know. Let me just see here.
Where is he?
Who's this one here?
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's his.
Oh yeah, I was
Oh,
just thinking
yeah,
this one's not dusty.
This is.
This is one of mine.
Oh yeah, look at that. We
It's in 2002.
apparently went to this place called Kawartha Lakes Bible College.
You got a gold
And
star.
I got favored for some
I
reason.
didn't get a gold star. They even put your whole middle name. I only got this.
You got just the initial?
I
Yeah.
don't have the coolness of
Yeah,
it.
put it up to that.
So sad.
Yeah, that'll be
And
it.
you graduated, was it
Twice. Not
2
really.
years after I did? So you did 3 years, right?
I did 3.5 years.
3.5?
If I had done one more semester, I would have had a BA back then.
That's
Really?
true.
Yeah, but we were called to the
Why
mission
did you
field.
stop?
Yeah, this, I would love to ask you both why you went to KLBC.
That's
Why
a cool
you got
question.
this thing.
That's a cool question. I was
And
going to ask
of
him a
course-
question like that.
Then you ask him.
Yeah,
That's a
then
good
ask me.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll ask each other some questions. I went because so I was raised in the Brethren, like you.
Yes.
My father inherited it from his father, before him. And you know when you're in your teenage years and you're starting to think more mature and thinking more long term, and whatever you got, you make it serious. So I just took very seriously the stuff the church was saying, right? I was like, oh, this is real. I should go to Bible college. That was it. I had a couple of people at my church who had gone, at my assembly, who had gone to KLBC. Brett Patterson,
Yes.
yeah,
I
he went
remember
there
him.
and he was like, you gotta go. And also you have to start handing out tracts, because everyone's going to hell. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So that's why I went. And also probably because I had no idea what else to do.
Right.
Right, because I was good at the church thing. Even
Yeah.
by that time I had been preaching a bit. Right?
So how old were you roughly when you decided, like, was it right after high school, or was it before then, like before you even finished?
Oh, probably the year before. 'Cause I remember having conversations with people my last year of high school, and they're like, why would you go to Bible college? And I was like, to be a better Christian.
And they totally understood.
And they were like, and I didn't understand why that was so weird for them. It's like, but don't you want to be a better whatever? What are you? And they're like, nothing.
Where did you grow up?
Welland, Niagara region. So Grimsby, Welland, Port.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Ridgeville Bible Chapel was my home assembly in Font Hill.
In Font Hill.
Yes. They're still there.
Interesting.
They're still there. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about you? Why did you go? Because you are coming from a very different place.
A little bit.
Literally.
That's true.
Than us.
So I'm originally from Pakistan, but then I got sponsored by a Canadian woman, Saloma Smith. I will mention her name.
Mention her name.
I sold. Yeah, she brought me, and because my English wasn't that good at the time, so she figured if it's like a smaller college area that I could be. Maybe they would help me a lot, and Bible college is the best thing because then they would be like, okay, it's an international student who doesn't speak much English, so this was a perfect spot for the because there were only a few students, I think maybe 50.
47, are you?
Yeah, so that would have been a perfect place for me to just go and pick up the English and learn about God more.
Yeah.
So, and I just was very happy that I went there. Because it was like, yay, Christians, and yeah, so I think that's where I went because that's where my sponsor wanted me to go.
Because she has she's part of the Brethren.
Yes.
But you were not.
Yeah. So I grew up Anglican.
Right.
And I was we grew up with Muslim, Hindus, all kinds of people. So growing up, we never are taught to be like that. You have to be only this kind of Christian or we just love everybody growing up because that's the nature of
not competition. There's no
there's
religious
no
competition.
Or no
maybe.
even trying to convert people necessarily. It was just mostly we're Anglican, they're Hindu. So you knew everybody's place, but you just grew up loving people and hanging out with people no matter what. So it was a bit of a different setup at KLBC.
Different vibe, different spiritual vibe.
Yeah. Because there were suddenly things that were just so hardcore. Like, you gotta do this, tell people they're going to hell. Which is
that's first.
It was just
conviction of
sin. With that.
It was a little bit I don't know what I want to say. It was a bit of a challenge for me to suddenly be into that environment.
To try to be, to try to be a new kind of Christian.
Yeah. But then I figured, this is Canada. They probably know better than Pakistani Christians. So I soaked right in.
Yeah.
Did you have an expectation at all of what you might encounter before going there? And did that...
No, nothing at all. I was just basically because all I knew was Anglican, right? We read the Common Book of Prayer and do the simple, little things, and then... So I had no clue what... I was basically, I think, excited that I was in Canada.
Sure.
And I'm going to be with all these Christians.
Sure.
So I didn't even care whatever was going on at the time.
So you came from a casual practice of generally accepting Christian community of various types?
Kind of. But I think also growing up too, because my dad was a pastor. So he was a very spiritual man. Even though he was Anglican, but his lifestyle was just... very powerful. So growing up, I saw that. I saw he was a man.
He was a
prayer.
special kind of guy.
Really,
he stood out among the pastors.
Oh yeah, he was. He
different
would just
kind of
pray
guy.
so much, loved the Bible. So I grew up even as an Anglican, just really admiring his lifestyle and wanting to be like that.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that I just loved about him, and I wanted to be like that because
he was one of those guys where Jesus by their works you may know him.
Yeah.
He's just you got a Jesus character in you, man.
So
just a resume
loving.
like this, eh?
And just a accepting gentleness, just that kind of guy
But
where you
still,
couldn't even put your finger on what is it about. You're just this weirdly compassionate, awesome guy. What brought you to the Bible college?
Oh man, so there was this family member that we had. Her name was Pamela. Anybody who went to Greenwood would remember her. She was the sister of my sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
My brother married her sister, and they came from a Brethren background as well, from way up north, small town, Marathon, sort of area, and she was the only one in the family who Christianity didn't resonate with.
Oh.
And this is from childhood.
Oh,
so from childhood there was certain I should say events or incidents or experiences, whatever you want to call them, where the Christian response she was getting from her family.
Okay.
Basically was setting her up for a perfect storm. So she was just incredibly impressionable, and she was also very trusting of her family and her parents, but also incredibly introspective about herself. And this caused this is my hypothesis. I've been talking with her a lot lately just as we're trying to figure this out, but my hypothesis is that she had in her this ability to know sort of what resonates with her and what doesn't. Okay. In a way that maybe most of us who are more susceptible, if I can say that, to embracing religion would have. And combine that with her family who would have like church in the house, and if you didn't go to church, there was like you're grounded or whatever. She had told me that her brother would corner her to make her memorize verses and stuff like that. So to some people this may have been nothing, but it was a big deal to her. And as I'm sure you know, as parents, every kid responds differently to whatever it is that however it is that you're raising them. And generally speaking, the way they were raising their kids seemed to work for her her 3 older siblings to varying degrees. But with her, nothing. And this set her on this course of basically that theme of her family, our churches, the whole Christian community, trying to get her into the lifestyle the way the rest of us are, and her very much not wanting to fight with us or to, she genuinely tried to understand it and see it the way that we all did, and to be moved and touched by it.
Interesting.
In the way that and she just could not do it.
So in a real way, a real honest seeker.
Real honest seeker. Probably more honest than all 3 of us combined.
Okay.
I'm comfortable saying that. And what this did was this caused this divide where she knew very much all about the community, about, she came out to our youth group tons of times. She came to churches. We would spend lots of time with her. We'd hang out with her all the time. And we'd have these talks. I would have these talks with her about Christianity, and she would just be like, she's like, I know what you're saying, and I hear you, and Mark and Janice, they talk about it all the time, and like it's like I'm not convinced, or I don't care, or whatever. She's like, I don't know why. It's like she really wanted to because she hated this.
The divide, because she could see very clearly that if she could resonate with it, she could resonate with everybody else in the family.
Yes, and then this was her whole world, and because she could not really fit in that well, she naturally did what most teenagers do who are in a similar position. They gravitate to a world where they don't feel so alienated, and this just happens to be a world of misfits who may not resonate with the life that they're being that is being sort of introduced to them. But they're also not being taught how to live differently. So and this is what I was kind of saying about somebody who leaves the faith and doesn't have something to stand on. I used to think it's because this is the only thing to stand on. But now I'm thinking it's because somebody just hasn't learned how to live another way, and because it's still something that we have to learn how to do. Is if we're not going to approach people Christianly or see the world Christianly, seeing the world a different way and learning values and learning morality is something that we still have to actively do in this other context. But when would we ever learn that in a church? Never.
You never get trained for something like that.
Never. Right. So if you leave, you often, especially as a teenager, you feel so alienated and you feel so lost. And I think this is also why why some of them go back, is because they go into this void and with these other misfits who haven't been taught how to live differently. They haven't been taught that you can be healthy and good despite. And so they feel like, wow, there really is nothing apart from a Christian life or apart from God.
I better go back.
I better go back. That's my hypothesis. So with her, I reached a point where I was trying to get her to embrace it all.
Yeah.
And I felt like I just didn't know how to do it. And I felt like, do I really know my faith? Where, like, shouldn't I be able to help her in some way?
If this is true, there must be a way that I can communicate it right.
There's probably a verse that I just don't know because I haven't read through the Bible fully or anything like that. And, you know, up to that point, I was pretty dedicated.
Yeah.
But not to any in-depth level where I'm like, I'm convinced this can help people because I feel like I see it all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like it helped me.
Yeah.
So why is it that none of us can reach her? Yeah. Nobody. And she got involved with drug abuse, with alcohol abuse, anorexia, self-harm, suicide attempts. This is all like before she was like 16.
Wow.
And this is amidst our families who were like nothing remotely like that.
Right.
So it was like beyond black sheep.
Yeah.
Beyond. And
the family probably has no clue how to support
no clue.
Because the only support is Christ as interpreted by the evangelical church.
Exactly. Yeah. This is where, you know, it would be helpful if we had an alternative way of seeing life.
Yeah.
To know just how to get her out of this pit.
Yeah.
And we didn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So this is around the time where I'm like, I feel like I don't really know my faith the way I'm supposed to. And KLBC had come to Greenwood Gospel Chapel, which is my church, to do we're a Bible college, come, and this is the only time I didn't know Bible colleges existed.
Nice.
Until that. I'm like, there's like Bible college? Okay. And so I was applying to go to Humber, but I was put on a waiting list for the program I wanted.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to be doing nothing for a year anyway, so I feel like I could probably really use this. Then I'll maybe know how to talk to her and people like her.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for that reason. So that's why I went, was to feel like I had a right to call myself a Christian.
To get your equipped.
Yes.
Or rooted to grow.
Because I had a very real circumstance that I felt ineffective in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to know more because I care about her. Like, I'm seeing her suffer. I'm seeing her as she's losing weight from her anorexia. Like, I'm seeing the bone impressions in her face. Like, this is somebody who is a friend.
Yeah.
And she's family.
And needs healing. And I know this is the where all healing comes from. Why won't it work?
Yes,
I keep trying to apply it.
And I thought that, you know, because I would approach her in a way that was, I hope was more grounded. Because we bonded over, you know, freestyling for fun or video games. Yeah. Stuff like that, right? And I felt like we had really good talks. And it just, even that wasn't enough. I felt like, maybe if I'm, you know, if I'm human to her.
Real connection, but even
apparently that wasn't
I think that's what a lot of people who is so forced upon.
Yeah.
You have to be Christian, you have to do this, what we're doing, or what we totally forget to look at the other person because they are totally maybe not experiencing it or anything.
What you're trying to heal isn't what they're suffering from.
Our focus
it's not a sin issue. The sin issue is of course the only issue, right? But when
I think our focus becomes like conversion first, then humanity or other relationships.
Of course, because this is
which if it was the opposite. You know, like we might even see fruit.
Which is, it's very interesting because yes, you have to connect as human beings before you can connect on any other level. But if even the hidden agenda or not so hidden agenda is ultimately not about that. It's not. It's about your afterlife. It's about your soul. If these things exist, then. Are you really doing it for their humanity?
Is it and is that a real relationship then? If the only reason that you're doing it is with an eye towards conversion, because even when we were trying to be very faithful evangelists and very good, not trying to proselytize, but be like, no, we're making real friendships, so that we can tell them about Jesus.
Which
it's like, but how is that a real? And there's a little bit of way of thinking that can make you be like, this is a real relationship that I made in order to convert them.
Absolutely. And
it's weird.
It is so weird, and I remember thinking that exact way where the things I enjoy doing with you, I really enjoy doing those things with you.
Not too.
I would ultimately like for you to be the same kind of believer that yes. And somehow we I don't know, somehow we rationalize or compartmentalize this so that the two are never too close to each other, and therefore we don't really. It's kind of like if you a person is dating two different people. You keep them farther apart enough. You can convince yourself that you're not really dating two people.
This is this, and that's something totally different.
Yeah, and this is what we do as human beings. I think. In order to justify doing things that we feel like we need to or should do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was why I went.
So you went for equipment so that you could go out and be the healing.